On top of a machined aluminium dry sub that's also a supporting beam for the rear subframe. That's interesting, and there's more too, because none of this behind-the-scenes technology has interfered in any way with what Koenigsegg call the general ichthyomorphic design principle. These are the aesthetics. And the best bit of those aesthetics are the dihedral synchro helix actuation doors. So, is this the most boring supercar in the world? No. It's lighter, more aerodynamic and amazingly more powerful than a McLaren F1. Its supercharged V8 pumps out a simply colossal 655 brake horsepower. Koenigsegg say it will go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds dead and on to a top speed of 245 miles an hour. Now, if those figures turn out to be accurate, this will be quite simply the fastest road car in the world. Sadly, our test track isn't long enough to test the top speed. The fastest I've ever been down here is 170 miles an hour in the Pagani Zonda. And it wasn't much fun. Now, it may sound simple, driving down a runway flat out, but there are problems. The runway is so wide, it affects your sense of perspective. So you're sitting there thinking, a little bit further, a little bit more, a little bit harder, a little bit more speed, and then before you know it, you end up here, 14 inches from the end of the runway, and in big, big trouble. It might look a bit daft, but we put up some markers to remind me to brake. Then I waited until the wind had died down. And then I went after the Zonda's record. Okay, here we go. Those G-forces hurt your neck. I've got to take as much speed as I can through this bottom corner onto the main straight at 112 kilometers an hour. Supercharger whacking the fuel in into third, up to 7,000 RPM and into fourth. We're now going 205 kph and into fifth. Bit of a bump, it's starting to weave a little bit here. There we go, 258 and into sixth gear. 268, 271, 277, brake hard. Oh, hard. Engine, whoa. Now, we've got a little button here, tells us how fast that was. 280 kilometers an hour. That's 174 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour faster than I managed in the Zonda. So, welcome everyone to the fastest car we've ever tested here. This goes like nothing I've ever driven. And it feels like nothing I've ever driven. The clutch is heavy, the steering's heavy, the gearbox is heavy. It's just a ton and a half of testosterone. You could drive this thing to the gym, turn around, go straight home again. You'd have had more exercise than if you'd done a workout. Touch of understeer. You've got to be so fast. Whoa. It is absolutely brutal. The bloke from Koenigsegg was going, turn the traction control off. He must be joking. This is the meanest, angriest, heaviest, most unforgiving machine I've ever come across. But it doesn't need to be. That is the beauty of this car. If you don't like something about it, change it. The bodywork all peels away and then everything is adjustable. Brake bias, suspension, ride height, power steering, the lot. So you can have it set up for a big, wide open circuit like Silverstone one day, and then the next day, a couple of minutes work, and it's set up for a twisty-turny one like Cadwell Park. Then, if it's a lovely summer's evening and you want to set it up for going to the pub, simple. Slide in here, do this clip, move that lever, undo that clip, and the roof comes out. Then you simply slide it into the front, like so. Perfect fit. Still room for a small bag. Close that down, and we're ready to go. The Koenigsegg doesn't have the racing pedigree of McLaren and Ferrari. It doesn't have the phantasmagorical visual clout of a Lambo or the quality of a Zonda. But it's very fast and very, very special. Well, it may be a Swede, but take it from me, it's not a turnip.
Oh, well, that is brilliant. What a fantastic start to a programme about safety. That's really going to help get rid of the headlines. Top Gear, sensible people, it's not going to say after that. Thanks.
He's let us down, frankly.
I think so, yes.
He's let the BBC down, he's let the Stig down, he's let himself down.
He has.
Do you think we can rescue the reputation of this safety programme with a bit of insider dealing?
I've no idea, give it a shot.
OK. Volvo. Now, deals on new Volvos in the UK are quite rare. They are good, steady sellers. They don't generally have a problem with oversupply or any of those things that tend to drive prices down. However, let's take one of their S60 models. In fact, let's take a really good, sensible diesel one. This is the D5S 2.4. The list price of this, £21,000. I found it for 17. That's a good, safe buy.
Very safe.
Let's try a more interesting Volvo. We've got the C70 convertible 2-litre T. That's almost £25,000 list price. I found it for 22. Now, VAT is not something I normally worry about because, frankly, you can't do anything about it.
No.
But you can get Citroën to pay it, it turns out. Now, they won't pay VAT on fags or whiskey, but they will pay it on some new Citroëns, notably their people carriers. We've got the small one, which is the Zara Picasso, and the big one, which is the C8. They will also pay the VAT on any options you specify. So, if you had a fully kitted out Citroën C8 people carrier, you would be saving almost £4,000.
That adds up, doesn't it? That's a big saving.
Well, let's take a real-life example, OK? The Zara Picasso 2-litre HDI diesel in Desire specification. The list price of this car is £14,600, but with Citroën paying the VAT, it's £12,500, £2,100 off. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds very good to me.
Good? Ah, well, you see, I found the same car in the UK, the same specification, £11,000.
That's even cheaper. Why?
Because I went through a broker. Now, you'll have seen these things in the back of car magazines. You get them in the back of Exchange & What. You get it on the interweb net. These people that advertise cars at bargain prices, what you do is you go to them, you say, this is the car I want. They find it for you, and they tell you what their best price is. You can take it or leave it. The moral of this is always shop around, because it doesn't matter how good the official manufacturer's deal is, someone else will probably beat it.
Right, let's get back to the safety theme and the Koenigsegg. We've established that it's the fastest car we've ever tested in a straight line, but what about round the track? It would have to beat the Zonda's 1:23.8. So can it? Willkommen Behager Steigen. So this is the big one. Can the Koenigsegg take the lap record round our track? This car has over 100 horsepower more than the Zonda and loads of grip, so if anything can do it, it'll be this. We should never have let the Stig go to Tennessee. Now, here we are into Chicago. And he's sideways. He is very sideways. Steady, Stiggy. This car bites. Coming up to the hammerhead now. Will it understeer? Not a chance. Look at that. It's the follow-through. He's looking fast. Oh, that is very fast. Over the first sector, the Koenigsegg was absolutely level pegging with the Zonda. Can it beat the Pagani to the end? Here we go, a bit of a slither through Gambon and across the line. So, anyone want to guess? Was it faster than the Zonda? Yes. You're wrong. It did it in 1 minute, 23.9. A tenth off. Just a tenth off. Hey, it's basically the same.
I'll tell you something, though. It's going to take me longer than 1 minute 23 to write it out. It's Koenigsegg.
K-O-E.
I've got that. Is there a
right.
Y?
You carry on with that. I'll tell you something else. Who'd like to see a shot of the Stig's first attempt to get across the line? Yeah. OK, play it. Here he comes. Up to Gambon. Oh! The extraordinary thing, how are you doing?
Well, I've run out of space for that. I've got about 12 Gs on there, and I can't get... I've got an idea, though. Hang on.
hopeless. You've got 12.
I'll get it on there, I reckon.
Yeah.
I should do it if I start.
Thing is, though, I have to say about the Koenigsegg, and this is that when I was doing the speed run, there's a dip in the runway where presumably planes used to land. And when you went through that, normally 120, 130, it's fine. But once you're going past 160, ooh, and just before I set off on the speed run,
I missed a G out there. And
keep going. There's no X in it.
Is there not?
Just before I did the speed run, the guys from Koenigsegg said, actually, would you mind awfully, we're going to put some gaffer tape round the window. Oh, that really fills you with confidence.
You need to hear that. I'm getting there.
Still an immensely impressive car.
Yeah.
Come here, let me finish it off. You're going to be here all day.
There can't be. Is there another?
I-G-O-G-A-B-B-A.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Viking
you're right.
CC.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's no space for the time.
But it goes... Oh, I was rather hoping it might not, actually.
Can you reach?
And
it did it in 1 minute, 23.9 seconds.
Yeah, that looks good.
Is so close.
That is fantastic, and I think you have once and for all established, Jeremy, that the Koenigsegg Viking is very, very fast.
Yeah.
That's good. But you know, it's not really about safety, is it?
No.
No. Are you planning to do anything to do with our safety theme at all?
No.
Didn't think so. Do you want to try?
Maybe a bit later. Actually, maybe now, because my guest tonight, best known for his role in Men Behaving Badly, but he was once in Boone, where he had a motorcycle and therefore he had a crash helmet.
Safety. Got you.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Morrissey.
Hey, how are you? How are you? Very well. Have a seat.
Bit of a problem, this.
Yeah.
Castle Queenside. Morning all. Okay, 18 minutes to go. Weaknesses on Magnus has arrived. Krishna comes fights. Magnus has arrived. Kramnik reckons hi Gorski. Didn't Kramnik say he's getting a bit past it? He feels as if he's getting a bit past it on the last interview I saw. But he did so well in the candidates. He really gave Magnus Carlsen a run for his money in the candidates. It was only on tiebreaker, wasn't it? That
Draw with white and
Again, Karpov opens d4, being space in the center.
but this bishop e2, bishop e3, to reduce black's active opportunities, which is very unpleasant. And it was the base of his strategy with white, to reduce my active counterplay, and he succeeded with it.
Karpov prefers to open 1d4, which suits his positional style. Kasparov always plays knight f6. Now white plays c4. This is a usual follow-up move, grabbing space in the center. Kasparov plays his usual g6. And Karpov plays knight c3, aiming to advance his e-pawn e2 to e4 to claim the centre. Now the move that gives the opening its character d5, stopping that central pawn first. This is known as the Grunfeld defence and is the favourite weapon of Kasparov. Again, Karpov opens d4. And again, Kasparov's favourite reply, knight to f6. The opening develops the same, c2, c4. And again, g6, the fianchetto of the king's bishop. White plays knight c3. And here Kasparov deviates. He fianchettos immediately that king's bishop. This gives it a distinct character. Karpov grabs the centre with e4. And now Kasparov plays d6. This opening is known as the King's Indian defence and is another favourite of Kasparov's. With the score level at 6-all, Garry Kasparov arrives in Lyon for game 13, accompanied by his wife and his mother. Anatoly Karpov arrives walking alone up the stairs. A round of handshaking. Finally, the players come face to face with each other. Karpov opens d4. There's no surprise here. And we have a Grunfeld defence. No surprises yet for either side. On move 10, Kasparov plays e6. Now Karpov advances his d-pawn to d5. Garry Kasparov has something to say about this move.
Not a good move at all. I mean, no, it's an idea of the variation to organize the passing pawn here, but it's too early.
Karpov's inaccuracy on move 11 is met by Kasparov's inaccuracy on move 15, knight b6. Kasparov felt he had a much better move than this one.
Here I made a mistake, very bad mistake. It's not mentioned here, but knight b6 is a bad move. After knight f6,
knight f6,
c4, queen h3, it's a big advantage for black. Big advantage.
Karpov plays c4, allowing the exchange of queens. Kasparov takes the queen on d2. And Karpov recaptures with the knight. Now Kasparov puts the knight on the edge of the board on a4, and quickly Karpov plays bishop to f3. Now the knight comes into c3, leaving the c5 pawn weakened. Why didn't Kasparov play b6 in this position?
I was afraid after b6 I didn't like knight e4.
and you think now your pieces are misplaced?
Yes, I think it's misplaced. Actually, it's black should try to equalize the position. I mean,
you think so, you think that black is slightly worse here? This is your opinion?
I think slightly worse, because if I could play b6 and knight c3 or b6 and f5, then I'm fine.
Kasparov just counted this variation. He played knight c3, and I'm almost sure he didn't see, he overlooked the sacrifice of exchange on c3. Otherwise, black has a good game. But after this sacrifice, white is much better. And so Kasparov should sacrifice back the exchange immediately.
So rook takes.
Rook takes, bishop takes.
Bishop takes.
So knight e4.
Yes.
And then it's very difficult to find good.
So rook takes e4.
Yes, rook takes e4, bishop takes e4.
All this is forced.
Yes, everything is
rook
forced.
e8.
Rook e8, bishop d3. Then he played b6.
Which is forced.
Which is forced, yes.
And now king g2.
Yes.
This is a good move.
King G2 is not
the best.
Maybe Bishop C1, Rook C1. Rook C1 was a little bit stronger, just to
attack the bishop.
Attack the bishop, and then just not to give me this opportunity F5.
Do you think white is slightly better in this position?
Definitely
better.
Definitely better.
I had another possibility: Rook C1 or Rook B1, B3, A3.
So you mean Rook B1 or Rook C1?
Or Rook C1 just to kick out the
or Rook
bishop
B1
from
and Rook B3?
Yes.
A3.
Just to have an idea to put Rook on A3 and to
weaken the structure.
Yes, the structure. But I thought that King G2 should be quite nice, because in this situation I need King to control E4 square for the future.
So this square.
Yes.
I played F5, you know. It looks very risky, but at least it's a chance, you know. I want to attack his weak pawns.
Yeah.
It's dangerous because now I have bad bishop, he has a good bishop, but still I have rooks. It's not so dangerous. I think it's a good move.
You think this is a good move?
I think it should be drawn now.
Suddenly Kasparov played F5. Still, I think
What do you think about this move? Is it a normal move or is it a mistake from his part?
I don't know. I'm not sure position is winning for white, but Kasparov was too much afraid to be just how to say this? Be just squeezed in the position, and so he wanted to make something active before the adjournment.
So he didn't want to be tortured the Karpovian way.
Yes, but I don't think white has a real plan to fight for a win.
The game was adjourned, but Karpov proposed a draw. Kasparov accepted, so play did not resume. Game 14 began on November the 26th in Lyon's Palais de Congrès. Kasparov arrives at the board in a mood of concentration. He's prepared something very special for Karpov today. He opens E4. And Karpov arrives at the board somewhat late. Something unusual is happening in this game. Kasparov has played the Scottish opening, which hasn't been seen in World Championship chess for over a century. What does Anatoly Karpov think about that?
I was surprised because Kasparov never played Scottish. Although I played a very sharp game with Timon, even 2 games, I believe, and one won a beauty prize in London International Tournament, and also a very sharp line. I beat Timon in a nice way. So Kasparov prepared novelty B3. So he played in game number 14. I believe that he got support in Lyon from a side, because in New York he didn't prepare, and I'm almost sure that somebody brought this idea to him in Lyon during the break of the match.
So you think this is a line he has been preparing from the 12th of November until
just between New York and Lyon.
And is it possible in 10 days to prepare a line for the World Championship?
Why not? Why not just to play one game? Especially if you have nice idea like B3. Then you can just work a few days and be sure.
After Karpov plays his 8th move, bishop a6, the world champion shares with us the secrets of his preparation.
Karpov won several games with this opening, and normally they all played knight d2 here. Prepare this move b3. It's an interesting line. You know, white is behind black in the develop pieces, but they have some advantages. One is the pawn structure, because if you play f6 or d6, I change pieces and then they have better endgame.
So this is a new move.
Not a new move, but a very rare move. Plus this bishop, you know, very strange what he's doing here. And this black should play very, very active to use this advantage, and it's not Karpov. Plus, yeah, there are many moves in the position, many moves. It's f6, queen h4, long castle, g6, and Karpov played long castle. It's normal reaction, which is maybe not very good. And I play this interesting innovation, g3.
So this is
a new plan, you know, there's double fianchetto, and the idea is just to play isolated bishop, and finally this knight would go back, and plus king, okay, bishop b2, f6, bishop g2. takes an e5 castle.
So what is assessment now at the moment?
White is
Karpov-
better.
White is better.
White is maybe
The pawn
seriously
is not
better.
important.
Pawn will disappear, but look at the pieces, you know. Karpov tried the only chance. Because if we play normally, you know, I play the central strategy and...
So
yeah, and now I made a serious mistake with Queen D2.
this is a mistake.
I think this is a serious mistake, and it's not a big secret, you know. It's a mistake because look, I have an advantage in the center, and it's for me it's necessary to win the pawn and to change queens. Just to play, why not play rook 1, for instance? Just it's a strength.
After Kasparov's 14th move, Queen d2, the fight becomes very tense. As the duel gets underway, Garry Kasparov will give us his impressions after his 18th move. Queen takes a7.
Now the position changed, you know. His bishop was very bad here. My bishop was very good here. For instance, his bishop was very bad here. Now his bishop is very good because it plays, you know. It protects king. It plays an important role. My queen is on this end. It's not a bad piece. But anyway, we're not playing now a positional game. We're playing a very tactical game. And it means my positional advantages are not important anymore. It's very good for the end game, you know. And instead of playing in the center, I decided to play in the flank. He's playing in the flank. Very complicated. The position now, assessment is unclear.
I think this is one of the best games which we played during this match. Of course, it was much more difficult for me to play this position than for Kasparov because he was familiar with some ideas. Even somebody told me that this position was on their chessboard before the game, but they didn't consider my move. And I think I thought for a long time, and so I could find the best way to get counterplay.
So what was your move here?
And this was Queen G4, very good and very interesting move.
And then he played knight a3.
Yes, he played knight a3. This is clear because he wants to bring knight to a6 or to play c5 and knight c4.
So you played h4.
Yes, I have to get some counterplay.
He played knight c2.
Knight c2, yes.
h3.
h3, which is also very important, and probably in connection with Queen G4, this was just a great idea, because Black has no time just to exchange pawns on the king side, because then they will lose quite soon. But to create some problems to the king, especially with h3 pawn.
H3, very interesting move.
Interesting.
Interesting, yes, interesting move. I played bishop h1.
And now this
But maybe he could do something better. Yes, knight e4 here. It's a very nice psychological trap here. No, tactical trap. F3.
Can we maybe show it?
Yes, mate.
And mate.
Okay, good.
Players watch each other like hawks. Marcia, Kasparov's wife, even looks nervous. Anatoly Karpov too seems tense, as does Gary's mother, Clara. Kasparov stares at the board. And now he drops his queen back to f1. What does Karpov think about this defensive move?
When he should defend the position, I think he defended the best way, and so I must say that this maneuver with queen f1, attack pawn on h3, this was very strong and very good in time pressure. So Kasparov deserves good remarks over his defense in this position.
Both players are now in extreme time pressure. Karpov sacrifices this exchange and Kasparov must recapture. Now Karpov starts checking. You can feel the tension. He checks again and the king goes back to the corner. Another check. The time control seems to have been reached. What does Garry Kasparov now think?
I think it was about equal. I wouldn't need to win too much, and my position was dangerous then. I think it should be draw now.
And now?
It should be draw.
When did you prepare this?
Sorry?
When did you prepare this? This move?
In Spain, and then here we analyzed it. Actually, we prepared the whole strategy here in France. I mean, we wanted to make a surprise.
Okay.
Interesting.
Thank you very much, Gary. Thank you.
The game was agreed drawn, so challenger and champion go into the 15th game with 7 points each. The 15th game of the match. Garry Kasparov studies the board as he waits, and as usual, Anatoly Karpov arrives late. True to himself, Karpov plays d4, and Kasparov has played the Grunfeld defence. He receives a surprise though on the 11th move. What does the challenger think of this?
Right. Very strong move.
Very strong move.
I mean, he's starting to attack and to mate me. I can always change queens, but then we'll go straight to the very unpleasant endgame for black. And unfortunately, this exchange is the only way to stop the attack.
It's the only way.
I think it's a refutation of the line, e6.
This is a refutation.
Absolutely. It looks very obvious, but
How come that there was such a hole in your preparation?
I think it's because of very intensive preparation, and we had to do so many things which should be done during the pre-match preparation.
So even the world champion and his team can sometimes miss a simple move, which is like bishop h6.
Definitely.
On move 14, Kasparov swaps off the queens, and Karpov recaptures with king takes d2. As we reach the endgame, Kasparov prepares to defend his position. Move 18, bishop d3. Is Kasparov worried about this move?
He had many plans.
Okay.
Knight e7.
Yes.
I think Karpov had many plans here. He could play g4, g5. He played a good plan.
Maybe it's a problem to have many plans.
He actually had 3 plans, you know.
Yes.
h5, or then h6, or g4, g5, or h5, and the takes and rook h2. It's a problem, but anyway, he had a big advantage.
Karpov gets more pushy. He plays 20, h takes g6. Kasparov recaptures, h takes g6. And now rook to h2.
It's a good plan, because now he wants to force me to change all the rooks and then to play e5 and to...
And this is adapted to his style also.
Yeah, but he spent a lot of time trying to choose the right plan. Because he felt, you know, it's a big advantage, and he didn't want to miss a chance. It was his only chance in the match to take the lead.
Right.
Game 15.
So you
And,
played b6?
I played b6. What else I can do?
Yes.
He
g4?
played g4, yes. And now I made a move, and I think Spassky called this suicide.
Yes. What do you think about this?
I think it's practically the only chance.
The only chance.
Because
Otherwise,
if you go straight to the changes rooks, then it's you play g5 somewhere, and you have very bad endgame. The game will be adjourned.
and you will suffer.
Will suffer, and probably you will lose.
And
anyway.
probably you lose.
Because it's a big advantage for white.
So it's better to
But after
immediately
e5,
free yourself.
if e5, you have some chances, you know, e5.
Some practical
Some
chances.
practical chances.
Kasparov is desperately trying to hold his position. His wife and mother again look worried. The players stare at each other almost aggressively. Can the champion cope with the 25th move, knight d4?
I mean, black's position is not It's not better. I mean, it's still bad position. But here, white should do something very,
Precise.
Yeah, precise, because the value of the move is much higher. If he could, play just general moves, here he should play, precise plan. And it's psychologically, it's difficult to change your mind. He was ready to improve the position. Now he should play something really. Because if I could change a couple of pieces, it's a draw. Look, I changed 2 pawns. I got rid of my bad pawns here. Okay, I destroy his center, but he still has very powerful pawn in the center, plus attack against my king.
Karpov struggling to convert his advantage. He plays 28 rook c2. Gaza didn't think much of this move.
Here he made it. Typical, this is a typical psychological mistake. He played rook c2. He didn't want to push pawns. f4 was almost winning.
Almost winning.
Almost winning. Because now I couldn't, if I played bishop g8, then he played rook c2. No, it's not a great choice for black.
And then you cannot free yourself with g5 anymore.
G5, yes,
because
G5,
e5
yes.
and f5.
And for instance, if rook c8, then rook h7 is immediately winning. Because mate is ready. At the end of the story. Probably the best chance, I don't know what was the best chance.
But you mean after this move, Karpov
Bad position.
has a very good position.
Big advantage.
And he could take the lead in the match with this game.
Take the lead on the match,
if
yes.
he could win this game.
Yes, after this move, yes. Bishop g8, rook c2, rook e8 was the only chance. But it's not his bad position anyway. But rook c2, he's trying to keep the advantage. And
so typical Karpovian move.
Typical Karpov, yes.
This was move which missed the winning chances.
Because here, maybe you agree that after
After f4 position is very difficult.
position is very difficult
Very
for black.
difficult for black, yes. Probably it's even winning.
So this is one chance that you missed for this match on the game 15, in fact.
Yes, that's right.
It's clear now that the danger for the champion has finally passed. On move 33, Kasparov played knight to d5 check. With it, he offered a draw.
Actually, I had to play the position, but I was so happy that it's a draw. And for me, I felt that it was important that I saved this game, having that position, and I decided to fight next game. It's normal for the match. Actually, maybe it's wiser to play, but you need another player with another character and with another thoughts. Okay. I made my decision, and actually I won the game 16.
Karpov decides to accept the draw. Now, where did he go wrong?
So I had advantage all the time, but so it was close to win. Yeah, and I missed somewhere.
It was exciting, that's all I can say. I was very much nervous, and Clara also. But I'm glad that it's finished like that, and I'm hoping for the future. I was very much for my husband.
You thought at the moment that he was losing?
I thought that he was losing, but somehow we survived.
The 16th game of the match began on the 1st of December 1990, and it started a fierce debate on the use of computers in adjournment analysis. It also marked a turning point in the match. Up to this point, Karpov had resisted very well. He could have even gone a point up in the last game. So with the score level, the world champion again opts for the Scottish opening. But this time Karpov's prepared a novelty on move 8, knight to b6. What does Kasparov think about this new move?
knight b6. I mean, Karpov decided bishop on a6 is not a great piece and played knight b6. I think it underestimated my preparation in Scotch. He thought maybe it's one experience, and he didn't do it properly. And we analyzed knight b6 as well, very well. And
Karpov deploys his bishop to b4 on move 11, and Kasparov tells us why he's so happy with his next move.
I'm sure this move he overlooked in his preparation, home preparation. And it's a very good position of idea. I take on d2. And now if he tries to destroy white pawns here, this pawn is... I push the c4, the c pawn, knight d5, b4. I should change probably bishops. It's a very bad position for black.
So white is very comfortable.
Very comfortable, because I can just push pawns here and you cannot stop them easily. You can analyze. It's a big advantage for white.
This game is just one of two disasters in the home preparation which I had in Lyon, because we had this position at home. This is not very far from the new idea, and it was just completely wrong judgment of the position. I think this position is already bad for black. Maybe not so bad as I played. I had better plans, but still the estimation of the position at home was completely wrong. And if I would just consider the problems which I could meet in the game, I would never play this line.
And do you think that instead of bishop b4, if you would have played a5, a4, your problems would be solved?
No, still white is much better here.
White is much better.
Much better, yes. But a4, this was possible, but I think it doesn't solve all the problems.
Karpov's 11th move was an error. He now makes another mistake with 13 d5.
With d5, which is I took on d5, and here he maybe made a decisive mistake. C takes d5.
What should he play?
Queen or knight, any move. And then try to change bishops, and because after c takes d5, rook c1 is almost lost.
And did you analyze this position already?
Rook c1. It was a conclusion that black is in big trouble. This position. I mean, we finished our analyze here.
So preparation with the white pieces was excellent.
Not bad.
Kasparov has a serious initiative. He castles kingside, and now he explains to us where he thinks he went wrong here.
Castle. White is completely winning. h5, and now h3. You know, it's a lazy move. Why not queen d4? H takes d4, queen takes d4, and it's a end game. Completely lost for black.
The game is adjourned. Kasparov steals and gives it to the arbiter. No parties for either side tonight, because both players will be analysing very hard. Kasparov has missed some chances, but he still has an edge. The arbiter opens the envelope, which contains the sealed move. And now he plays the sealed move on the board. Queen to b2. Both players have had all night to think things over. What conclusions have they come to?
Fortunately, I had this move to change queens. I sealed the move. And this is an adjourned position. It's a result of adjourned position.
And how is this position?
Draw.
This is draw.
I think that, okay, practically it's a good chances to win, but is a result of proper defense, I think it's a draw. If you can prove mathematically, I think it's a draw.
The adjourned position was unclear. None of the experts in Lyon knew the right answers to the result of the game. It seems that the challenger's 54th move, g6, was a mistake. Better was knight c4, followed by the advance of the pawn to obtain a draw. But let's hear Anatoly Karpov. He has some things to say about his adversary's play.
No, I think from the moment where Kasparov got decisive advantage, he started to play very badly. So almost every move just needs to have question mark. What Kasparov played maybe during 10 moves, I don't know. And so he almost missed all the possibilities, and the joint position was still difficult for black, but we couldn't find clear winning continuation for white, but at the same time we couldn't find clear draw continuation for black. And I believe Kasparov didn't play the best way during enjoyment, and probably he pointed out the moment where I could make draw by force.
Karpov is about to play his 88th move. King to f8, attacking the champion's rook. But Kasparov will adjourn with the advantage. It's certainly not going to be easy. He takes care to keep his seal move secret. The second working night will be even longer than the first. Now we're ready for the third session of play. The arbiter plays the 89th move, rook to a7. Kasparov calculates. On a move 102, he plays king a7. And now Karpov must resign. The world champion takes the lead, 8.5 to 7.5. But there's been some controversy about the adjournment.
Different things. It's adjournment, one story, timeout, another story. I think the for the next match, something should be done with the adjournment. Computers are important, but if you remember the second adjourned position, I mean, this is we can put the second adjourned position, which was...
What do you answer to the people who say that this is a computer?
No, computer, it was checked, you know, that this is, computer couldn't analyze the position.
So it's only the man who can still analyze this position.
Sorry, Bishop was here. Computer couldn't analyze the position. I mean, computer could, all computers, I mean, because it was checked, you know, you can ask Lugi or Friedel. All computers, they was unable to find a way. I mean, even Deep Soul, the strongest computer, needed the first 5 moves of my plan to find a way.
So this is...
I found it mathematically. I spent 2 hours. Mathematically, it's maximum 17 moves.
So this is the end of the controversy about this?
About this game, yes. There was no controversy. I mean, it was a typical lie spread by, I'm sure, by some people who wanted to reduce the importance of this victory. Nothing to do with the computer. And I told all my friends 2 hours after the adjournment, mathematically won.
So the game is just over, and this is a power of the man, and not the power of the machine. This is very important.
The machine is quite weak in this position, even in this position.
And do you think psychologically this was the first, I mean, important moment of the match?
For me it was important because I won the first game in New York. It was game 2, and then for certain games I didn't win, which is not very comfortable. And after this game I was much more confident. Okay, that's game 16 and game 17. But anyway, I've got a confidence. Even game 17 didn't break the confidence.
Because you...
Because I felt better, okay. I felt like I was able to beat Karpov, I mean, to win the game.
This game showed that, and it was very strange for me because position was quite easy to find a plan, winning continuation, but Kasparov just wanted to join the game, and he didn't want even to think over the board. It was quite clear because for quite a long time he was thinking, just spending time. He wanted to join and to get help of his seconds. And I believe that if you want to have clear competition, so we should eliminate adjournments as much as possible. It's not easy because then a game of chess would be quite long, but still then we have a clear picture who is better over the board, but not with the second.
The 17th game was played on the 5th of December 1990. Karpov decided not to take a timeout after his defeat in Game 16. The challenger suffered a blow to his pride and he's hot for vengeance. The world champion again chooses a Grunfeld defence. This time it's Kasparov's turn to produce a novelty. On move 9 he plays bishop g4. What does the champ think about this move?
Maybe it's a new move. I didn't discover the games played by this move, but the idea is quite obvious, actually. And I would consider the next Karpov move as a new idea.
I decided to play something which probably they would not analyze. And I had the right guess. When I played knight g5, Kasparov was very surprised.
What is your assessment at this moment?
This is still open question for theory, but it was unexpected and it gave result. Because in the whole match and in previous matches, the most difficult thing for me with Kasparov was and is just to find position which he didn't analyze at home. And when we have fight over the board, then he has no any advantage. So that's why it was quite clever.
It's very interesting, knight g5.
So what is your assessment about this move?
A very good move.
A very good move. And do you think Karpov prepared before, or he found it? He prepared
No
this.
doubt.
No doubt.
Black is in trouble because white has an advantage in the center. And I mean, I played the obvious line. I took here, I played knight c6, h3, bishop d7, rook b1, favorite Karpov's move. Rook c8. We cannot take here because I take on b4.
That's.
Play knight f3.
Maybe you can show to.
For instance, take here, takes here, take here, take here. Rook c1, yes. King d2, rook d1, yes. King takes d1, bishop a4, check.
Very nice. That wins the queen.
Yeah, that wins the queen.
Kasparov is trying to wriggle out of a difficult position, but Karpov wants the full point. The challenger plays a sharp 18th move, bishop to g5. Kasparov seems rather bewildered. Let's ask the champion about this move.
Bishop d5. And
what do you think about this move?
Good move.
Good move.
Very good move. And it's, I saw that it was another recommendation. Yes, d5 here.
Yes.
Which is not very good. And a6, knight d4, and e6. And then Black's idea is working, you know. This is very strong square, and it's...
and now the center of white is destroyed.
Destroyed
suddenly.
completely. Okay, I have bad pawns, but anyway, it's just even if you can do it...
Maybe you can...
Yes, I can maybe... No, e7.
E7.
Yes, e7.
Yes, yes.
No, I take here. And it's, I'm in attack. No, I think Karpov played it very well. He played bishop g5, a6, rook c1. And again, the same problem. What to do? You know, maybe it's the best move in the position to play f6. And after bishop is e6, you know, trying to stop it and having this for post. Strong. But in the game, you know, I saw this is a draw. I took here, he took here, I took here, and it's a normal position. And suddenly I discovered some problems. Because this obvious move, for instance, there's a queen a3 possibility to go to the endgame, which is a little bit dangerous because the pawn is coming. And another possibility just to simply play queen e2, knight c4, d5. You're still in trouble. Yeah, and but the major problem was knight c4. I want to play knight c4. Bishop is suddenly I discovered bishop e7, knight is take here, rook takes e4, d5, and the pawn is very dangerous. You know, if you're afraid deep pawn, you don't have to play green full defense. And later on, I discovered that it should be draw after d6, queen d7, very strong move. If you take your rook. No, it's not easy. You know, still black is still slightly worse because they should be very accurate. Actually, if you make any move, for instance, queen c2 here, then rook c1. Actually, I calculated it. Take rook c6, and you are in big trouble because you're losing the pawn. You cannot move it. It's a queen now. You cannot stop it. For instance, and I discovered these difficulties in the game, and I was a little bit in panic. And then it's played move which defended me from these dangerous endgames, but it was the pawn. But actually, it's a positional blunder, the same level like in game 7. After this move, black is lost.
After this move, black is lost.
Completely lost. I mean, yes, completely lost. Rook c1, and he won c line.
And this is
completely lost. No chance.
No chance at all.
No chance. Completely lost. I mean, he has this all positional advantages.
So it's not only a slight advantage here.
Here, completely lost.
Karpov plays knight d2. Let's see how the challenger feels about this position.
Knight d2, this was a very strong move. And after this, Kasparov just collapsed. In few moves, he lost the game.
But where is his mistake?
Just a decisive mistake came immediately. He exchanged knights.
Bishop takes.
Bishop takes, and then he played rook c8, which was the last mistake, I believe. After
what is the other possibility for him to hold the position?
Of course, it's not clear because this position is quite difficult, but probably bishop e5, he should play something like this.
Bishop e5, so would give him better chances.
Just try to hold the position, because if rook c6 now, maybe e6, just trying to exchange one pawn and still to fight. And after he played rook c8, he just lost decisive tempo with rook c6, and after this position is completely lost.
After 34 moves, black's position is grim. Bishop f4, and instantly Kasparov played queen d7. Rook c7 hitting the queen. Karpov starts to turn the screws. Queen has to go back to d8. This looks very grim for the champion. d6. My God, that can't be taken because of the pin on the king. This looks horrible. Kasparov lashes with g5, hitting the bishop. Karpov just ignores it and advances the d-pawn, hitting that rook. So Kasparov grabs the bishop, the challenger can just grab the rook on e8. This looks absolutely awful. I've never seen the champion so humiliated. The rook has to go to f8. Karpov checking his calculations, drops his bishop back to d2. Now this looks very easy indeed for white. Bishop to e5, hitting the rook on c7. Just rook b7, moving the rook out of the attack from the bishop. The d7 pawn is like a monster in black's camp. Yes, and the world champion concedes again. What a fantastic victory for Karpov. Let's hear Tolya's verdict on this incredible game.
It was a very complicated game, but I had advantage always, from small till big at the end. But he made one mistake, and after this, it was very difficult to save the game, because probably b5 was not so great, and then after he played rook e8. This is suspicious move. And after rook e8, I think I got almost winning advantage. Yes. But I should play very strong, like rook c6, bishop c3, all these moves, bishop a5, like now.
Game 18 starts on December the 8th, 1990. Kasparov received a body blow in the last round, but he's not the kind of champion to run from the fight. Let's hear how he's feeling about the game, and try and get an insight into his opening choice.
Decided that it's time for Ruy Lopez because I prepared Ruy Lopez as well, and it's a Scottish played their role, and I decided to go to the normal Ruy Lopez line. Especially Karpov didn't show the good defense in New York.
As usual, Karpov arrives late. Is this part of his psychological warfare? In any case, there's war enough on the chessboard. Karpov produces a novelty on move 13 with knight b6. Let's hear what Kasparov has to say about this move.
Knight b6, it's a novelty. Interesting
compared to New York, because in New York he played something else.
Knight a5.
Yes.
It doesn't change the position. Bishop f4, one of the many possibilities. I spent a lot of time thinking about it.
After 20 moves, the world champion had used 1 hour and 10 minutes. Karpov, less than 15 minutes. Karpov plays rook b8, and Gaza gives us his opinion on this move.
Rook b8. It's a critical position.
And how can you explain that at that moment you thought a very long time,
yeah, I spent,
and Karpov spent only 14 minutes?
Yeah, he analyzed it at home, it was a preparation, but I think he played it too fast because he didn't believe, he doesn't like to sacrifice pawns. Probably he was convinced that it's a good idea, and it's after queen d2 c6 he can open all his bishops to destroy my center. But as a great player he felt something was wrong, and he was right.
And how can he feel that it is wrong and play it still?
Yeah, you know, but maybe he was convinced by the coaches. I mean, the soul lines, yes, it's fine, but...
Isn't it a lack of professionalism not to go and to check what are telling you also?
Karpov again, I mean, sometimes he trusts coaches. I mean, he's not checking himself.
You mean that you never trust coaches and you check all the lines?
I trust, but I check all analysis. Sometimes I can make a mistake on my own, but I check all analysis. I don't. Normally I play my ideas. I mean, it's just 9 ideas out of 10, my mind. Queen c4, I mean, it's a very strong move. I mean, it's easy to explain. He had bad bishop, he wants to destroy my center, and then it's all the quality of his pieces will become strong. After queen c4, he cannot improve, he cannot destroy my center, and this pawn is okay, it's not important. Rook a2, if he goes back, then knight b5, if he takes, I take here, and at a position without any counterplay. With this weakness, and
so you think this is
big advantage for
very big advantage?
Big advantage for white.
This is just the second disaster we had in our preparation, and that's why I must say that our preparation was not perfect during the match. we had this position, and so we just didn't pay too much attention to very strong reply Queen C4 because we considered Queen D2.
So what did play here?
And Knight B5. Knight B5 we thought maybe was the most complicated and best move. But Kasparov played very simple and very strong, Queen C4.
So Queen to C4.
Yes, Queen B4, C4. And after this, probably White has already advantage very close to decisive.
Very close to decisive.
Yes, I spent here maybe more than 1 hour, and I couldn't solve the problems. Of course, the best practical chance was just to take on B2.
So bishop takes B2.
And then rook A2.
Rook A2.
Yes, and just try to hold this position as bishop F6.
Bishop F6.
But then knight B5 and position is very difficult.
Knight B5. And your, judgment is that this position is almost winning for White, or?
But very, very good.
Very good.
Very good for White because I must exchange 2 knights. And any bishop exchange would bring additional problem. If I exchange white color bishop, then I have hole on C6. If I exchange black color bishop, then my white color bishop is terrible on B7.
So you mean this is a particular case in chess where 2 bishops are weaker than 2 knights?
Yes, because they are just have no space.
No life.
No life, yes. This bishop just controls empty diagonal, and this bishop in trap, just in the net. And I cannot even move this bishop, not to A8, not to A6, B6, C8, then this pawn is hanging. And no place to bring this bishop. So this position is very bad.
Karpov's preparation has not been a success. It certainly has not caused the world champion many problems. Between move 20 and move 24, Black's position visibly deteriorated. On move 25, Kasparov played Queen takes D4. Karpov captured the pawn on C6, and he's now a pawn down. Is the position already lost?
I wouldn't say that it's lost. I think I made 6 very strong moves in a row here.
So you think you still have to play very precisely in order...
It's typical Karpov. That's some good chance. Look, knight is here, it's not a good knight. Bishop is strong, the pawn is weak. This pawn here, taking this pawn. There's some chances. And I made serial of very good moves. I was very proud of these moves. As I played B4, it's an important move.
First strong move.
Yes. For instance, if he goes take, I then can take and play B5, tactical possibilities. He cannot take because it's pinned. And if he goes bishop is then knight C4, knight takes D6.
But we can maybe explain to our people.
Rook B1.
And after this move...
Yes, I take here, take here, take here, rook takes B5, rook A8, mate.
And this is mate.
Mate. Good.
So first very strong move.
B4. He played rook E6. Rook E3. H6. Just in case. F3, very important move.
And very strong.
Very
Position
strong.
is very solid in the center.
He has a white square bishop, I put pawn here. Rook C8. Rook B3, preparing
to win piece.
Yes, threatening B5. Played here, he played here, wait a second. Queen, bishop B5, and rook B2. Very important move. Knight is coming now.
And now that the knight is coming...
Yes, knight is coming, that's the end of the
Now we can say that it's the end of the game.
Now it's the end of the game, because knight is coming. I saved all my advantages and I've got my knight here.
So first of all, we can maybe make a summary of the situation. Karpov came with a prepared line.
Yes.
Then he made his opening, but it didn't work.
Yes.
You had a better position, and then you played 6 consecutive strong moves to reach this position.
Yes.
And now the knight is coming there, and this is over.
Over, absolutely.
Kasparov is to adjourn. He will think for 20 minutes before sealing his 41st move. Karpov's position is untenable. Still, he will return on the next day to check the champion's analysis. On move 55, Karpov plays h takes g4. Kasparov simply recaptures. Rook back to f6. The world champion plays 57, rook c4, cutting off the black king. This forces Karpov to resign. So Kasparov is in the lead again. Is the challenger depressed?
How do you explain you lose this match?
You mean game?
Yes.
Because match is not over.
Okay, yes. This game.
Yes, this game, so unfortunately we made another mistake at home. And so position till move queen c4 we had at home, and it was clear because I played very fast. And then after queen c4, this is just very bad position. And so it's pity and sorry that you lose game at home.
Here is Karpov's mansion, where his team of analysts work round the clock on his adjournments and opening preparation. But let's hear his views on his opponent's team.
Normally he has better preparation, and of course it depends on the team. He has a much stronger team.
Yes.
I mean, with bigger names, and for several years already. So they prepare him ideas. This is much easier than you work on your own.
Anatoly is hardly on his own. He has both Ron Henley and Lajos Portish with him. As the snow falls on the 12th day of December, Game 19 gets underway. Karpov, trailing by a point, will be trying to pull level again, just like he did in Game 17. After his defeat with the Grunfeld, the champion has wisely switched to the King's Indian. On move 10, Kasparov plays knight a6, and he has a few things to say about the move.
He made a very good decision here. He left king in the central, because then it's the only active platform for black to attack here. But if there's no king, what you can attack? Played knight d2.
Karpov desperately needs to win this game. He continues to maneuver by playing 17, rook b1.
And what is your assessment in this position?
Black was slightly worse. You know,
Slightly
worse. It's maybe queen g5 was trying to organize something here. I played b6, and he played knight f1. And it's an unpleasant position because black should do something here. I mean, it's how?
And now you played this move, bishop f4.
It's
very interesting.
It's a move just to... It's kind of positional trap for Karpov, you know. It's nothing to do with this move. I don't know what to do, for instance, after h4, but I didn't see the possibilities, what I can do in the position. I mean, how can I improve it? My knight cannot come to g7, it's probably too late. And it worked out, it worked.
He played g3.
Very bad.
Very bad move.
This is very bad, very unusual for Karpov, you know. He weakened his pawn structure. It's a pride of his position. And then I went back, he played h4. Actually, it's a unique game for Karpov. After 20 moves, he pushed all his pawns.
In his life?
I think he never did it.
So we've seen sparring on both sides of the board. Karpov now looks towards his kingside and plays king to h1.
Here I was really surprised by his move. Obviously, black wants to open the game. I mean, I expected b5, and I thought maybe this is draw. I didn't want to open the game here. And suddenly he played king h1. Very bad mistake, in my opinion. Take here, and of course a5. He played knight f5, but take on b4, rook takes b4. Now the game is open, but look, all black pieces are coming. Of course, I don't want to take this pawn. But that's knight, rook b6, knight e4. Black is big. And by the way, it's a good puzzle for the chess player. Which knight is on e4, knight f6? Where is knight g8? Where is knight b8? What is a knight here?
This is a knight b8?
Yes.
And this one is a knight...
yes, g8. And this knight comes knight f6, g4, h6, f7, d8, b7, c5, e4.
So this is a mathematical problem.
Yes, mathematical problem.
As he approaches time pressure, Karpov speeds up. Many people were sure that Kasparov would win again. But suddenly he plays rook c1 and proposes a draw. The audience are very confused. Let's consult the players about this rather strange result.
And here...
I think I did everything great by the moment. I mean, the position is winning for black.
This is what we thought. And so people started to talk...
Yeah, wait. After queen b2 is the only move is winning. Which I saw and I wanted to make. No, I don't think it's winning. I think it's not obvious that it's queen a8.
Queen a8 is the only winning move.
Yeah, it's winning move. After this move, I didn't find a defense for white. I saw this move, but I can tell the reason is quite simple. I wasn't in the big defense in the beginning of the game. Later, I played h6. I thought, okay, it's a draw, and I expected that he played b5, close the position. Suddenly, I've got initiative. You know, I understood that the game will be adjourned. I had to analyze it, and I wanted to prepare better for the game 20. I didn't prepare myself psychologically to win the game, but I think that was a crime against chess. And as a punishment, I had to play very bad at German in game 21. Everything, because it's justice in chess. And offering the draw, I wanted to avoid the adjourned game. I wanted to save some nerve energy. And as a result, I had a very difficult analyzing the dangerous position in game 21.
So...
yeah, I think the player of my level couldn't afford to offer draw in the position. Any move was very good. Okay, but this move was probably winning.
Yes, in this game, I must say that this was only one game in which I suffered with white, mostly because of overestimation of my possibilities after the opening. I decided that in this static situation on the king side, white would have chances to get advantage. But in reality, it happened that I couldn't even hold the position, and this blockade was very good for black. And of course, this game Kasparov should win. Kasparov just didn't want to have any risk because he was 1 point ahead in the match. In very nice situation, he didn't want to have any risk. And of course, it's difficult just in a few minutes after a very long session to estimate correctly if black can win or not, because Kasparov should make, after queen b2, he should make important decision.
The 20th game was played on December the 15th, 1990. This day will go down in chess history.
This moment I took a decision to have risk, to take risk, because it was hardly could be considered that I can win two white games out of 2. and just to get title back, I should get lead with 2 points, 2 points out of last 5 games. And so we can come back to this old and as we called archaic rule in the history of chess, when in case of draw, world champion maintains his title. So I believe nowadays we should eliminate this rule because it gives a lot of advantage to world champion. And so I just decided to take risk to fight for the title.
This will be a battle without mercy. Both sides eagerly enter a sharp variation of the Roy Lopez. Karpov plays 17 f5. What's Gaz's verdict?
That's a good positional idea, just to destroy white center, but one consequence, king.
So were you surprised by the aggressive attitude of Karpov?
It's a psychological result of the game 19. Probably I won the game 20 by offering the draw in game 19. And Karpov saw that maybe I'm just having 1 point lead. I will hesitate in any complicated situation. And he decided, to fight. Because in this position, white should be very, confident. Because sometimes you have to sacrifice. Positionally, you are in trouble because he had an advantage in the center. And you should attack without hesitations. And he thought maybe it was an advice of his psychologist. He decided to play this line.
And what do you think about his choice? Of course.
It was quite obvious for him in the situation, but I think it's a bad choice because I play this position much better than Karpov. I mean, I feel it much better. Plus, I was encouraged by his king, and he underestimated my confidence. I mean, the game 19 was normal. I mean, I was programmed for draw, and I often draw. But here I was programmed to crush him, and I did it.
I was choosing very sharp line, as I told, just to fight with Kasparov. And also, we could remember not very successful set of games, Spanish opening in Leningrad match in '86, when I played also very sharp line with not f5 but c4. So it is a choice of black if they play sharp or they try to survive in quiet but difficult variations of Russian defense or others, or Karakan or other possibilities.
So you think this is the good choice for that day, for this game?
Yes, I think it was correct choice.
The position is still known to both players. But Kasparov is the one to find a new idea.
Rook e3, knight f6. This is almost theory too, yes. And this is a new move, knight h2. An interesting move, I opened this because knight here is not attack, and sometimes he can go to g4. And Karpov, he played king h8.
Is it a good move?
Who knows? It's not a bad move. I mean, he's trying to improve his king.
Probably Kasparov didn't analyze this move because he looked surprised.
Karpov has sheltered his king in the corner, but Kasparov's determined to get at it. He plays b3.
b3. Now king is here, and bishop is coming to this diagonal. He played c4, which is a...
No, he took first.
Oh, he took first, yes.
Was it good to take first? Wasn't it better to take here
Maybe, but anyway, white had an attack,
after
for instance,
c4, knight takes.
Rook f3, for instance. Another possibility for white. And anyway, the bishop is coming, and look, all these pieces, 7 pieces in the attack. So something could happen.
So the style of Gary fits very well to this kind of
not
position.
Not only style. I believe that positionally, white is right. They did everything well. They attacked the king.
You played c4.
Yes.
Some people are wondering why you didn't play first f takes e4.
No, then
and after knight takes e4, knight takes d5, and if rook g3, then knight f6.
No, I simply didn't like this position because of too many possibilities for white very good bishops, diagonals.
On the king, you mean?
Yes, yes. And in this case, if I wanted to take pawn on d5, just to open diagonals, then I first of all, I shouldn't exchange pawns.
You
if
think
I would take on e4.
You think this was so maybe...
No, just if I would like to play f
Yes.
to e4, I should play it immediately, not
Yes,
to open
yes.
additional diagonals. Just diagonal a2, g8. But in this position, I didn't like that my king's position is very weak, because probably white just can take, queen takes, and knight g4. So too many pieces over one poor king.
Kasparov wants to prove that the black king is vulnerable. His 22nd move deploys the bishop to b2, where it aims on the long diagonal against the black king.
Bishop b2. But anyway, its position is complicated. I mean, it's
You don't think this is really much better for white?
No, I think it's complicated. He took here.
Now I took on e4. This move is very useful because in case of emergency I can always play knight d3 and to close one bishop and attack another one. But I have this possibility to bring knight to d3, to close b1 bishop and to attack b2 bishop. So this was the main idea.
Karpov knows his king position is weak, so he counters in the centre. On move 22, he captures the e-pawn. Kasparov recaptures with knight takes e4. Is it all going according to plan?
I took here, and it's I have a choice between rook g3 and queen h5, for instance. It's a good line for it. And knight takes h3, queen takes h6, king g8, and now knight g5. Show the public. G takes h6, bishop h7, mate.
So you can sacrifice the queen and make a mate.
Yeah, on h, yes, you can. It's very nice. But after queen h5, black could play c3 or rook e5. Sacrifice an exchange and then to get good chances because knights are coming and instead there's no attack anymore. I decided to play an attacking with rook g3. All pieces are the rook e6.
Is it a good move?
I don't know.
Nobody knows, huh?
Nobody knows. You should analyze the position. I had a choice. Knight f3 is an interesting possibility as well, but I decided to play knight g4. And here I think the only move was knight d3. To sacrifice pawn, but at least to kill one bishop, which is very dangerous. And Karpov played the move, is a general move, queen e8, which is a very good move, just to pin my knights, protect white squares. That's a problem of his style. I mean, he's playing the position where general moves are not good. He's not looking for the best move. Here, you should play for the best move because you have 9 obvious moves and
Bit of a problem, this.
Yeah.
Last time we were together, about 6 weeks ago, we were on the Parkinson show and we had Parky to ask us questions.
Now what we're going to do? Do you reckon you're up to it?
I read somewhere, or you read somewhere, or someone
Yeah,
read
exactly.
somewhere. What about your father?
Jeremy, tell me, you're into cars apparently.
Yeah, cricket. Let's talk about cricket.
Exactly.
Actually, we are talking about safety tonight.
Yeah?
Are you a safe driver?
Well, I'd say I am now. But, I mean, I definitely have been through the old sort of mad area in my life, I mean, I've always had motorbikes as well,
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, come on now. Well, they're very fast.
I knew it would happen one day. I knew we'd have a guest come on one day and go, oh, I've got motorbikes.
Yeah,
I'd have
but...
to sit and pretend to be interested.
No, but the thing is, there's perfectly good reasons, and understandable, Jeremy, why you wouldn't like motorcycles.
Why?
Well, you're very tall, aren't you? I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to look like one of those clowns, or a silly old... going round a very gentle bend, knee on the floor. What is that about?
So do you go on these sort of biker weekends and things?
No, not really, but I enjoy the bikes. I wouldn't say I'm a member of the biking fraternity as such, but you know, there's a group of friends, a few of us who like bikes, but we don't go. I mean, you know, because there's modus operandi for being a biker, isn't there? They all meet.
It's honestly, I live in the Cotswolds, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And every
great roads around there for.
No, that's it. Every single Sunday, out they come.
Oh, yeah.
And they're from 100 miles away. I can hear them leaving Edinburgh. And it's such a stupid noise that motorbikes.
Yeah, but you know what?
make.
As they're driving past your house at 90 miles an hour and you're clipping their heads with your Black & Decker, they're just going past you going, sad.
Now, look. The thing is, I don't spend my weekends dressing up in leather and going off with other men,
Look,
a lot of whom have moustaches, and then drinking soft drinks in the pub.
Yeah, but I do have to agree with you, comply a little bit there, because there is a certain way of dressing these days.
We've got some photographs. Can we just bring up a photograph?
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the sort of thing.
See, that is dodgy, isn't it?
Do you wear that when you...
Certainly not. No, definitely not. No. I mean, this is a Power Ranger, isn't it? This is what they're dressing like. Oh! No, see, that is not very easy on the
Look
eye.
at that!
How do you look cool walking to the pub like that? You know?
Yeah, okay, a bit of lemon, please.
Yeah.
As I'm riding my Honda CBR.
Yeah.
What bike have you got?
I've got a big fat Triumph. It's a 955 ST Sprint, which is, it's about a couple of years.
It's just a collection of numbers and letters, meaningless.
It's a fast little fella, and she loves the road.
Yeah, I understand that. Fast little fella.
Yeah, but it's great. It's a nice light bike, you know, you can get... Because there's as much variety in the bike world as there is in the car world, you know, for the kind of performance you want to get out of it and the type of rider that you are.
Because I did once go... You might be able to help me out with this. I once went on something called a Ducati Monster.
Yeah.
You're familiar with it?
Oh, God, yeah.
And it was in Monte Carlo, but I was working there, and you just touch the throttle thing.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that, it's like that.
It's like that, it goes backwards.
No, but if you did that, it's straight off the bat. I've never felt acceleration.
Yeah. And you literally are holding on those big bikes, the 916 and the Fireblade and things like that. Yeah, you just hang on, really.
I mean, what do they call them in hospital? They just call them donors, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've followed guys. The worst ones aren't the bikers; it's those pizza delivery boys.
Oh,
in the rain with those boxes on the back, yeah, thinking that they're on a bleeding circuit.
The one I love doing is when you're in a queue, dual carriageway, the queue, and the bike comes down the middle and in a convertible. Have a good stretch. Scares the life out of them.
I know, you see that, but that's another thing. That's what car drivers are jealous of, is the fact that we can potter down through the gaps on the motorway.
I'm not jealous, because you're arriving in a helmet, covered in leather, dirty, sweaty, and I arrive and I've listened to Terry Wogan all the way.
Yeah, that's true. But you can do that on bikes these days as well. And you can have cooling systems in your outfits and all kinds, and heating systems, all kinds of things.
It'll take you 20 minutes to get off it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yourself from all the bits. So what sort of car do you drive?
I've got a nice BMW 745i.
Well, that's not very sporty.
No, it's not very sporty, but it's safe, isn't it? I mean, I prefer to sort of, to keep my madness on the circuit. I like to go out to race days. I like to go to race
Oh, those
tracks.
track days?
Yeah, track
days. We were doing
days.
those last week. Have you tried them?
Oh, yeah, I did the one at Palma. It was absolutely brilliant. You could drive about 10 different fast vehicles all day. And the instructors are brilliant, like Stig, because they just want to make you go faster, and it's just brilliant. And at the end of the day, I did well. I was top in 4 categories.
Really? Oh, so you're quick on a car, then?
Well, I have a go. I mean, one thing the instructors on the Palma day said to me was that he's fearless. So that suits me, you know.
Now, listen, you've had your practice, obviously, at the track days.
Yeah.
How do you think you got on? Do you think you're down here? Obviously not with Richard White.
I hope not.
I walked around the track this morning in 2 minutes, 5 seconds.
No, I did my second circuit and he was still on it.
Still trying to finish. Where do you think you'd like to be? Do you see yourself up here with
I'd like to be near the top.
You think you're going to be quicker than the chef duo here, Oliver and Gordon Ramsay?
I'd like to be, but I don't know. It's really difficult
This
to
is
tell.
me at 150, although that said that was recorded with 2 other people in the car. So I do claim to be faster than JK when I'm not here. Well,
Yeah.
I'm claiming here now. Well, shall we find out, everyone?
Yeah.
Shall we see his lap?
I'm really looking forward to this.
Here we go. Too much wheel spin.
I know.
What are you doing again?
What What am I rambling on about? I don't know. Touch of that. Let's get in there.
That's concentration.
Yeah.
You really do look like...
I'm trying to repeat what Stig was putting into my mind.
That's smooth, because if you go too fast around those corners, you just lose all the speed.
Good.
This one's tricky.
This is a hard corner.
It's like threading a needle at 100 miles an hour, because you go from a very wide track to a very narrow one.
Yeah, and, oh, I didn't do too bad.
That was when Michael Gambon nearly turned it over and you were across the line.
Yeah.
Well, I know how fast you did it.
Come on, tell me. Not that I'm competitive.
Well, it's 1 minute, so you're quicker than Harry Enfield and Richard Whiteley. We've had one record go last week. We've had another one go this week. 49. You're quicker than me, mate.
Whoa! I can't tell you how pleased I am.
That is a quick time.
Only JK
Now get
to
out.
beat. Yeah, I know. That's fantastic. Oh.
Well, it's not that fantastic, actually. It's funny watching people's faces with your toe, because everybody goes, I'm not bothered, I'm not... You get to that bit.
Oh, no, I have to say this is the most exciting bit for me, finding out that result.
Exactly. Well, that's a very good one. He's not going to be best pleased.
No!
He's going to to be pretty cross about
I think
that.
I might phone him up and make a booking at the restaurants now.
I'll be there in 3 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
4, but, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Morrissey.
Thank you.
There is an organisation called Euro NCAP that every year deliberately crashes brand new cars, and it does it to see how safe they are. It then awards them a star rating out of 5 depending upon how well they do. Now, the first car ever to get the maximum 5 stars was the Renault Laguna. Since then, there have been others: the Peugeot 807, Toyota Avensis, Mercedes C and E-Class, the Saab 9-3, and in fact the Renault Velsatis. But those are all quite big, quite expensive cars. The first and still the only small family hatch to get the maximum 5-star rating is this, the new Renault Megane. When this car first arrived late last year, I found it a bit, well, strong. In fact, I laughed. But now, I feel a bit of a chump. Actually, I feel a bit like those people who were asked to invest 10 quid in Trivial Pursuit and turned them down. At best, I thought I might respect them for their boldness. But oh no, Renault have done it again. They've made a car that is completely cutting-edge cool. This is Hoxton Square, officially the coolest place in Britain. No one living here works in accounts. It's a place so cool that if you walk across this square, by the time you get to the other side, all your clothes have gone out of fashion and come back in again. And just look how well the car sits here. And don't forget, we are talking about a small family car here. Suddenly, everything else, even the Ford Focus, starts to look a bit, well, last week. It may not drive as well as a Focus, but on balance, you just don't care. It's well priced, well equipped, and there's a decent choice of engines. And the interior is clever. I could take all of my possessions and just lose them in here, out of sight. Mothers will be fishing kids out of obscure cubby holes for years. But if you buy your next family car because it's pretty or because it's easy to keep tidy, you need your head looking at. Although we're very good at finding ways of going faster, we're not built to cope if things go wrong. In a typical crash of between 30 and 40 miles an hour, your head will be thrown forwards with a force of 40 or 50 G. That means it weighs suddenly 50 times as much as usual. That puts your neck under a strain of between 1 and 2 kilonewtons. That is the equivalent of holding up a 200-kilo weight with your neck, or of being hung. And the main bones in your legs are put under a stress of between 3 and 4 kilonewtons. That's like jumping off a very high wall with another fully grown adult on your back. Suddenly, the Megane safety features begin to look a lot more interesting. Things like crumple zones. It's designed to come apart at the seams, dissipating energy around the car and leaving you safe inside. But before any of that begins to happen, the car is doing things to protect you. At the moment it detects a crash starting, the seatbelt has pre-tensioners located either side of me. They fire and the belt clamps you down into the seat. Then as your body weight is thrown forwards, the mounting points of the belt are designed to peel away from the body of the car. It works a bit like a tin opening. There are weak points engineered in that allow it just to peel away like that. It's called a load limiter, and it does just that. It actually slows you down a bit more gently. Then there are the airbags. There are 8 of them in here. 8. Now, normally, at this point, we just show you the crash test footage, like this. And that would be that, end of road test. But not this time. Not going to be sending this car back to Renault in the same shape that they sent it to us. We're going to crash it into that car at over 30 miles an hour. And we're not going to be using dummies. We're going to use him. This is Lee, our Top Gear brave person. Now, he has crashed cars before for TV, but those were stunts where they used helmets, safety harnesses and roll cages. But this is no stunt. He's not going to wear a crash helmet or protective clothing, and there are no extra safety features bolted onto the car. Lee will crash this completely standard Megane and rely on the car alone to protect him, just as you'd have to do. This has never been done before on a car programme. But the Megane is a small family hatch that thousands will drive with big claims made about its safety. So let's put Renault's money where their mouth is. Lee, can we open it? Well, the door opens. How are you?
Fine enough, generate some heat.
Yeah. How do you feel? How fast were you going when you went in?
Last time I looked about 30, so it was 30, I mean, ish, 30,
Which is
32.
about the speed.
About the speed of a general mum going to the shops with the kids.
The airbags went off. Did you feel anything else happen with the seat belts, the pre-tensioners or anything?
I'm glad I went to the toilet before we did this, because this has really pulled me straight hard into the seat. The lap strap across your waist, I felt really tugged me back hard, and it's still uncomfortable to sit here at the moment. There's a loud pop. It's a bit louder than I imagined it would have been.
Should we help you out of that thing? Do you want to get out?
No, I think I can...
I want to have a quick look at the front of the car, and as you did it, you should see it. Well, I mean, the door. The door. It's fine, but from here, it's not bad.
No.
I mean, it's squashed a bit. I mean, it's made a right mess of the other one.
Thank you very much.
Live crash test dummy. That's fantastic. It works. I've just got one thing to do. Telephone Renault.
Oops. You better do that.
I'm going to do this alone, I think. It's one of those calls.
Most people believe that all modern cars behave about the same in an accident. Well, I'm sorry, that simply isn't the case. What I've got here is a Toyota Avensis. Now, this is a Euro NCAP 5-star car, as good as it gets. It's been crashed into a deformable concrete block at 40 miles an hour in a laboratory. And if we come round here, we find that the seat has barely moved, the steering wheel has barely moved, and crucially, the door still closes. Now, that shows us that this bit, the bit where you're actually sitting, hasn't crumpled up at all.
Now, suddenly we start to see the differences between these cars. This is a Proton Impian. It's been put through exactly the same crash. 40 miles an hour, deformable concrete barrier in the same place. And straight away, I can barely open the door. Now, that's not just inconvenient. It shows it's been bent out of shape round here, which means the cabin itself has been deformed. And that's where you'd be. And if we look inside, we can start to see why this is a 3-star car. Things like this, the brake pedal, it's been shoved right up here. Your foot would have been on there. Now, that would damage your ankle, it could damage the cruciate ligaments in your leg, which is bad. Worse still, the steering wheel has been shoved back. Now, that can damage your chest, which could be a lot worse.
So, the Proton is a little bit less money than the Avensis. And if you want to save a little bit of money, go ahead.
And you can't tell just by looking at the cars which will do best. This is a small car, a Ford Fiesta. It's been put through exactly the same crash, 40 miles an hour, deformable concrete barrier. And if we look inside, we can see immediately why this is a 4-star car. It's not too bad in here. And that's because it's been designed to withstand it and to send the energy around you and protect you. It's actually got bars running through here, which is why it's pretty much the same shape as it was before the crash. There are bars running along the door to send the energy around you, and the structure of the floor itself means all the energy goes from the front, the crash, around you.
Compare that now to this Land Rover Freelander. This is the kind of car that families buy. If we come round here, we find that this pillar, where it meets the roof, has crumpled. So any more speed, woof, that'll go. The roof has given up the ghost here. Even the door has had it. And look how much that has folded up. And if we open it, the seat has moved, the steering wheel's moved, the pedals have moved. Now, you've got a daughter, haven't you?
Yep.
Would you let her go in a 3-star car, which is what this is, now that you've seen this?
And that's exactly the effect these crash tests have. You just think, no, it changes the way you look at cars completely. It's a big, chunky family car, and...
It is unbelievable. Does anybody here want to know, because we've got a list, actually, of the Euro NCAP results here. Does anybody want to know how their car fared? MGZT. An MGZT. Let's have a look. That's basically a Rover 75.
I've got it. There you go.
Rover 75,
did 4
2000,
stars.
that's a 4-star car. So that's basically the same as the Fiesta. So you're OK. You can have an accident on the way home. Anybody else? Yeah.
A4.
An Audi A4. Have you done that?
Yeah, I got it.
You got the Audi A4?
That, again, if it's 2000... Well, here's what happened. Here's the difference of a few years, mate. 97, 2-star.
What year's your car?